Hi everybody, it's Alisa Murray here, and we're having another Martini Talks on a Friday night with one of my very best friends, Samantha, who I call Sam. And we are going to be visiting about all kinds of stuff, mommy stuff, parenting stuff, marriage stuff, all kinds of good stuff. So thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we've had a wonderful afternoon too. You'll see in another episode that we're going to be doing in the DIY, Paul is like a guru when it comes to craft stuff, and he has put together this really neat barrel with this post in it for me to hang lights like you see back here behind us around the pool over the garden, which is going to be amazing because at nighttime out here in the country we have snakes, and I don't really want to go out in that garden and check on anything, and we have a couple of critters that are eating stuff, and Paul has figured out a solution to my problem. So I'm looking forward to getting all of that stained and fixed up, and you already have that at your house, and they're just beautiful.
Yes, they're so nice.
He did a really good job.
He did.
Yeah. So talk to me. How long have we known each other? We've known each other for a long time.
Well, you started shooting Bo, my son, when he was like basically just born. And he will be 5 in August, so almost 5 years.
Yep. And I photographed your sister and your sister's daughter, and your mom I photographed.
Yes.
And I want to say, have I photographed your dad? I don't think your dad's been here yet.
I don't think he's been here yet, no.
Yeah.
And we haven't done like a big family photo like that. Normally it's just the girls who like the photos.
I know. That's the way it always works.
I know. But now with the new family, I have been twice now with all of us.
I know. It's good stuff. So Sam's getting married next year, and I'm going to be doing the wedding, and I'm so excited. We're going to be doing it in Turks, at one of my favorite resorts. Actually, one of the very first resorts that I ever became certified in with my Alisa Murray travel company. And I just love beaches. There's just such a wonderful rapport there with
awesome.
Family.
Yes.
And you've been there before.
I have.
Yeah.
I went to the Jamaica resort, and it was like words just can't even describe how awesome it is. It's like perfect if you want to get away with your husband or your partner, whatever it is, and then the kids have their little Disney, or not Disney, it's
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, thank you.
What I loved about it too, and one of the reasons why it drew me to them, is that, you know, my degree's in child psychology, and I have a lot of kids that are here that are autistic.
Yes.
And when I found out that they're the only certified autistic resort in the Caribbean, and that they really cater to those children and even beyond. There's one family that they talked to us about when we were there last fall that has like a 30-year-old son, and you know how autistic children like to have things a very specific way.
Yes.
And they know what his room is. His room is always the same room. They have all of his, I think it's Yahoo chocolate milk or something, but they have his specific drink, 2 in the refrigerator, 4 on the top of the refrigerator. I mean, they have everything exactly the way he wants it laid out. And even as he's in his 30s, the parents can go to the beach and enjoy the pool or the spa, and they've got him covered. They're with him all day long. And so, you know, it's just really nice to know that there's a place that families who have children that have special needs are able to go and enjoy a family vacation, because so many places don't cater to that.
Yeah, and that type of training, like, speaks volumes to other children too. Like, my son isn't autistic, but and he doesn't like going with anybody else. He's definitely a mama's boy. But he did not want to hang out with me. They made cookies one day. They did lots of arts and crafts. They were did treasure hunts in the sand. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And he never wants to leave my side and did not want to hang out with me.
Yeah, it's just really it's a special place. I'm looking forward to us doing that next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we won't have to deal with COVID, hopefully. Hopefully all this COVID will be over with and done. That's the thing.
Definitely.
It's changed everybody's lives so much with everything, really.
It
just
has.
really has. It has. So talk to me. You know, we've been talking all about motherhood and marriage and hanging out. You know, we've been hanging out together as sisters for a long time. And
Yes.
what's the one tip, if you were going to give me a tip, about raising a little boy?
Just let him be him.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, he's the only boy we do a lot of stuff with cousins, and he now is gaining a sister, so he has lots of girls around him, and I think sometimes it's hard for little boys to kind of adjust into the girls' world, but he's just all boy and loves hanging out with the girls, and I just let him do him.
You know, it's an off topic, but I'll have to tell you the story, and you guys might enjoy it too. I took ballet for 16 years. I was in a dance company. I was on point. Ballet was my thing, like my jam. And so, of course, when I had the kids, I was like, my children are going to be in ballet. And, of course, Brian Murray, you know, he's not going to argue with me on anything I do. He's always been such a fantastic husband and lets me just do whatever. In fact, after we had James Edward, he was like, we don't need any more children. You're too high risk. Dress him in a dress. I don't care. Just don't make any more babies. Enjoy the client's babies. Don't do any more babies. Because it scared him half to death, you know, with all the high blood pressure and all that. I took James Edward to ballet class, and he was the only boy. And he's standing there at the bar, and he's got black ballet slippers on, and he's doing demi-plies, and he's looking at the window, he's looking at the mirror, he's looking at the teacher, he's looking at the little feet in front of him. He turns and looks at the little feet behind him, and it all of a sudden registers to him that he's the only one there with the black ballet slippers. Like he's the only one there.
Yes.
So they get in the middle of the room, and I don't know if you know, because I don't know if you've done ballet before, but you've got these, you know, you do your bar, and then you do this exercises where you're doing chasmas and demi-plies in the open room. So here he goes. He starts to do his demi-plies, he does his chasmas, and he goes over and does a little hop, 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 and goes over to one little girl and gives her a hug. And then he goes over, hop, 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 and goes to another little girl and gives her a kiss. And it was like he just registered that he was in a girl's world, but he was the only guy. So It was like he thought it was the most fantastic thing on earth because he had full dibs of the whole room. I mean, It was a little bitty thing too. I mean, he was a little bitty, probably 6 or 7 years old, but he figured out fast that he was the only little boy in that room. That's and all those little girls. I know, it was great. It was great. I just loved it. I loved every minute of that. There's not very many years we got away with ballet, but for those few years that we did, there's a couple of really fantastic memories like that when I'm just like, oh, I'll never forget that. So being a mama's boy. Yes. So it was just great. Well, you know, we've been talking about it for years, you know, being married and how to stay married and what to do to find the right guy. And you've really found the right guy. I mean, Paul is just amazing.
Paul's wonderful. It took me a second time. So I think that really being able to be who I am bossy sometimes, and I really like my things, and I'm definitely opinionated, and just finding somebody who can love me when that
comes out.
Yes, absolutely comes out.
Or erupts, maybe.
Yes, totally. Yes. So I think that he loves me not just for the good, but also he truly does love me.
He does.
Sometimes the things that aren't always the best.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
It is.
And Brian and I rode the first grade school bus together, so we've known each other our whole lives. And, you know, I even just recently told Paul in the kitchen before we did the Martini Talks, you know, I feel like my childhood was so traumatic with Mother getting killed and all of the craziness surrounding that I believe that everybody's entitled to maybe one trauma.
Absolutely.
But not a lifetime of trauma. And
yes.
So for those that have to deal with that, it's really unfortunate. But for me, once I married Brian and moved away and moved out here to Texas, everything was smooth sailing. I mean, we had a couple of years where we were kind of fighting over who was going to be the boss. Mm-hmm. And he knew when he married me I was going to be the boss. There's nobody that's ever met me that didn't know pretty quick I was the boss.
But not having an up and down, back and forth relationship would make a marriage, I think it would make it not real. Right.
But we don't argue, you know, and it's funny because a lot of people come to see us and they're like, how do y'all work together? How do y'all do everything together? Like, you do everything together. I'm like, the reason why it works is because that's what we are each other. Like, that's it. Like, it's not like he doesn't have like a boys club and I have like a girls group. We are to each other. That's it. And as we've grown through 30 years, can you believe this year, 30 years of marriage is crazy.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. It feels like it's been like 7. It doesn't feel like 30 at all. Like, I have to tell you that. You're getting ready to get married, and it's just amazing. Next year, we're going to have this big wedding, and we'll be celebrating our 31st. It doesn't, I mean, it's so scary, too, because it's like life just flies. it just flies by so fast. I mean, I can't believe I'm 50 and I can't believe we've been married for 30 years. But you figure out what to argue about. You figure out what's important, what's not important. And pretty soon after you've really gotten cohesive and you and Paul are already there, like Brian and I, you can look across the room and you know what they're thinking. And you know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or if you are in agreement or you're not in agreement, you know. And then you pick your battle. You decide if am I going to go to bat for this or am I not going to go to bat for this. And it's one of those things that's just, you know, Big Daddy and Granny, my mother's parents, were married for a long time. And I saw them all the time. Like, they came to visit us before Mother was killed, but they came to see us all the time. And they would stay for like a month or two. Granny would come in, they'd come into town. Nana lived with us, Daddy's mother. But they would come in, and they had the best marriage. They emulated what it means to really, truly be one. And, you know, Big Daddy would say to Granny, Mama, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And Granny would say to Big Daddy, Daddy, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the other day I was in the studio and presentation room somewhere, and one of the friends of mine, clients, was here, and I said, Daddy. And she said, why did you call Brian Daddy? And I said, because he's Daddy. He's Daddy to our children, and he's Daddy. I'm Mommy, he's Daddy. Big Daddy and Granny have been a huge influence on what really a good, solid union is. And honestly, I mean, he said something so darling the other day. He said, if you die before I die, not one pillow will be moved. You know, and that's so sweet to know that he wouldn't just pick up and rearrange his life and try to make something different from what he's always known, that he would respect and want to be in the environment that we've created all these years together, which is just super special.
I think so.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool thing to be. Well, talk to me about Mom and Dad and how are things going with the family. And I saw your sister a little while ago, too, with her baby girl.
Yes, everybody's really great. We actually just went out of town. We went to Galveston for the week. So when you meet one of us, you really meet all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So we got this little beach house, and it had 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms and a kitchen, and we all shoved in there. So me and my 2 children and my fiance, and then my sister and my brother and my niece and both of my parents, and we sometimes don't really know how to be without each other.
Yeah.
So everyone's really good, and we're just trying to adjust to all the COVID stuff.
Well, how was Galveston? Because, you know, I saw the pictures. I haven't been down to Galveston. You know, we're about 30 miles away, and I used to go down to Galveston all the time, especially this time of the year, because I had a beach house down there for a long time that we rented, and I love Galveston. But after being in Mexico so much with the travel business, I have a hard time being in Galveston because it's like being in Myrtle Beach. The beach is not the same. The water's
totally
not
not
the same. And once
No.
you've gotten used to that blue water, and I'm able to just stick my little snorkel head in the ground, not in the ground, but in the water, and see a barracuda fly by. I'm used to the clear water and seeing my red toenail polish right there. I don't like being in water, but I can't see.
It is a little hard sometimes, especially with little ones too, because you want to be able to let them go, but you sometimes can't see. But I mean, that's, I guess, the downside of being in the Gulf. But we actually went a little bit further down past Jamaica Beach,
Mm-hmm.
and the water is so much nicer over on that side.
I'll tell you something else. And I posted it on my Instagram this week. I don't know if you saw it yet. There is a photo, guys, you can check it on the Instagram, where it's like 64,000 turtles they could see from the aerial view. And, you know, every year it's such a big problem. People stealing turtles, trying to make them their pets, all this crazy crap going on. But because nobody's been on the beaches are cleaner. And the turtles were in an aerial view, all these babies, just thousands of these baby turtles.
Is that Galveston?
No, I don't know where it was. It was probably in Mexico. But the thing is that the beaches are cleaner. The beaches are cleaner.
That's a great point. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's why.
I don't know. You know, when we were down in Isla, for our anniversary last July. And it was really cool. It was the blood moon.
Okay.
Okay, so number 1, blood moon. Yes. Fantastic. Number 2, Zoetry. Holy crap, love Zoetry. It's like the top tier of the AM resorts, which is my second resort that I like certified in as soon as possible.
Okay.
I've been to their resorts forever and like over the past probably 15 years, and I love maid service 3 times a day. 7 gourmet chef restaurants to choose from every night. Just gorgeous room accommodations, gorgeous entertainment at night, just a gorgeous place to be. All adults, obviously, probably not where we can go yet because we've got the kids little.
Yes.
But for me and Brian for anniversary. And Zoetry in Isla is like literally, probably the beach is the size of this pool. Like with the back end of the pergola all the way to the house. It's this little itty bitty teensy beach. And one night while we were there, this big mama turtle came up, and we were at the bar, and the bar was a little itty tiny thing. I mean, literally about the size of this porch. One bar, small resort.
Okay.
Like everybody knows your name kind of place. Like seriously groovy, cool, groovy.
Like luxury.
Yeah, and we went like luxury. Like during the day, you're like laying on the beach. They're cooking paella with octopus and shrimp.
Oh, yeah.
Then they're bringing cucumbers for your eyes, and then they're spraying you with spritzers of cucumber water. It's just amazing. But anyway, they called me from the bar because, of course, I'm at the bar because I'm having martinis with B and hanging out. And there was this big mama turtle, and she had come up to lay her eggs. And there's a big deal there to like protect her. So like people come from the conservatory and stand around her and watch her lay the eggs. And then when she covers them up, then she goes out to sea. Then they uncover them and they take the eggs to the conservatory on the island in Isla and make sure that they hatch and then bring them right back to where they are and take them back out. And she laid like 140 eggs that night. It was just so cool. So cool.
My sister thinks that seeing a turtle is good luck.
It's probably true.
I could totally think so.
Yeah. Well, the turtles in Mexico are so protected. And of course, they're not even open right now in terms of the COVID stuff, which is so sad. It's so sad to be having our 30th wedding anniversary. I mean, I would be there for like 10 days next month if things were not wacky. Ugh, it sucks so bad.
It does. But it gives you so much time to like slow down and just really enjoy each other.
Well, I know, but we've enjoyed each other here just fine, and we've been here for a long time. We've been in here hanging out in the stay home, stay safe situation for months on end. And I've tried. I mean, you've been out here for years. I mean, now I've got like ferns and the cat. Well, she's old, but like I've spray painted everything I could find red. You know me. Yes. Everything's got to be red or gold. If it's not red and gold, then it's got to be green. Like it's one of those 3 colors. And we've tried to make it like Mexico and be like at home, but it's not Mexico.
No.
I miss it so much.
I know. Soon.
I do.
I hope.
Yeah. I'm hoping for my birthday in February.
That would be wonderful.
That would be wonderful. It would be wonderful. So what's going on with school? You had to homeschool some critters. You did. You had your babies at home. And
yes, I had one who was in kindergarten. Mm-hmm. That's the daughter that I'm gaining. And then I have a 4-year-old who is going to be in preschool next year. So we did a lot of the preschool stuff. So, but I mean, he's going to be in kindergarten soon. So, you have to still keep up with that stuff.
Yeah.
That was really, really challenging. I still was working, and I was still trying to make sure that my kids were getting what they needed. It took a lot of planning. I like airing it all out. I probably spent like a whole 8 hours prepping for the week.
Yeah.
In one day.
I literally walked into a client's house in Siena because she asked me to come and photograph the dog and the cat and the kids and whatever, and they hadn't been anywhere, and so I was like, okay, it's safe for me to go. And I walked in there, and their kitchen, guys, you wouldn't believe this kitchen. The kitchen had like this thing up, and it had like, I'm not kidding you, Sam, probably 100 Post-it notes with the times for the Zoom and all the details of and they have 3 kids, all the stuff. Oh. I walked in the kitchen and I looked at her and I said, good God, what is that? That's like homeschool central / work central / you're supposed to be eating at the dining room table. I mean, like, it doesn't even look like a place you could eat at the dining room table anymore.
You totally couldn't.
I talked about this in one of my posts last week. I'm like, if your house is no longer serving your needs, it's time to call me to sell your house. Because it's dawned on me that people who have houses that now have to be their office, their gym, their home school, their own home office, not just their school, but their home office. Our homes are becoming like, that's it. That's it.
That's the end all be all.
So you got to make the house do all the different things that you used to go do.
Yes.
And if your house is not big enough for that to happen, God knows we don't know how long we're going to be in this situation.
I know, right?
It's maybe going to be a lot of people. And I mean, real estate market kind of did a what to do, you know, it's because, you know, I know for one, I didn't want to go show houses because I didn't want to be in houses with people living there.
Right.
And I didn't want to be, and there was protocols there. Yeah. And of course, with me having the heart surgery, I wasn't going to do that either. But, you know, you have to like wash down the light switches and all this crazy stuff, different protocols from what you normally wouldn't even have to think about doing. But there are a lot of people that I find are really probably going to figure out pretty quick, if this continues to go on all the way through into the fall, they're going to be wanting to move into a bigger house or a house that's more accommodating to what they need it to do.
Yes, absolutely. You need a room devoted to the school needs. You need a room devoted to your work needs. And you still have to be able to have like a functioning home, like you said, your dining room table.
The dining room table. Yeah, I mean, you got to have dinner. You can't have dinner with a Post-it wall that's like literally flapping with like everybody's schedules of when they're supposed to meet with teachers, and it was crazy. I was just like overwhelmed. We have a lot going on here. You know that. We've got a lot of businesses. We got a lot of stuff going on all the time here.
I don't really know how you do it.
But I don't even know either, except I'm just really good at multitasking and time management.
You are, yeah.
And I love to be an entrepreneur. So it's like, oh, I'll start this. In fact, I've got another business I'm getting ready to start. I didn't even tell you about today. I've got another webinar series I'm going to be doing. I'll tell you about it at a different time. But the point is that there's just, it's crazy to see how the shift has to be made to kind of make a space for this and let that just be the space for that, and make a space for this and let the space just be for that. And I don't know if you've noticed too, all these people are trying to rearrange their backgrounds, like they're putting themselves in these fake backgrounds.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, I don't have time for that.
Yes.
Like, it's the kitchen, okay?
Yes.
It's the dining room.
To see my dirty dishes.
It is what it is.
Totally.
Yeah, the other day I was doing that kitchen segment and I had to do something else for dinner, and I was like, dinner's on the stove. I didn't say that in the episode, but I'm like, dinner's on the stove. I mean, like, as soon as I get done doing this, I got to turn around and feed the family. So I can't like restage all this and not cook dinner. I'm just going to have to let this just be what it is.
I think that's really nice though, because then it shows like you are real. You're like a real mom. You're a real wife. You run a real business, multiple businesses. I think it makes I think that's probably why you are so successful though.
I don't know. I'm a little crazy.
That's always a good thing though.
I know. Absolutely. It's always a good thing to be a little crazy. I'd rather be crazy and know that I'm crazy than to not be crazy at all. Because crazy makes you kind of fun.
It does.
It does.
Yes.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed our little time together on Martini Talks, and a little glimpse into our friendship, which is very deep and runs long and will for many years to come. I love you a whole lot, and you know that. And if you guys get a chance, tune in next week. We've got another Martini Talks every Friday, and hope you guys are having a great night, and we'll see you next week. Take care.